So, you thought the first cube go crazy? Welcome to the club. These tricks weren't just to make...
Continue to give applause to all of our students who are so We're going to get set up. And we're going to continue. It is so nice to be with you today. It's been a while since we've gathered, and it's so good to see familiar faces and many new faces. I'm Eton, I'm at his school, and at Eton, most importantly, I feel like I used to belong to this group now since the pandemic. I became a grandparent, so I feel like we're loved finally. Most of the time, I think the things that some of our grandparents and even great-grandparents family are experiencing finally with your student journey. Not only grandchild, but especially but taking that journey with your children to understand that journey as well. It's truly a gift, right, to be able to participate, to support your family, in this way. And years and years and years of eating as it's truly a gift, right, to be able to participate. I'm trying to do that out. That's not you all. I know I am. That is an equipment bill. And if we're unable to try to do that, let's see. Get someone to help us. Oh, there we go. Oh, there was I think we have someone else being on board to help as they're working on that, what I also would like to share with you is just some statistics that we have on a couple of slides. It's actually a little older, it's 2016, but as they're working on that too, what I also would like to share with you is grandparents and educators, but a couple of slides. It is very important that child will not be involved in really our approach that we take on it. One understand what drives each individual. We also look at what drives early on, that we take a deep dive. What to do, that's understand what drives what that we do in each situation. We also look at what drives early on, understand one another, so we deep dive. Really do have information on what's racial drives what you guys know each we also look at 18 or 17. I don't know if you had just a couple. That's good. So all of us are going to be different. So we're going to do kind of a personality assessment. All we're going to do is it's going to tell you a little bit about yourself. If you have a significant other with you today, it's going to tell you a little bit about them. But what you're going to find out is what truly drives you, what you consider everything today, what has to be your upright deep down. What you find out is what truly drives you, what we all have these parts of who we are. Consider everything about that bubble. You're going to take really easy assessments. Say personality or your core drives you. And we're going to give you a little bit of confirmation about that as we go forward. So, say And as always, teamwork at Eton. It takes a village. Thank you. What is your name? Dan. Dan, thank you so much. All right. We couldn't do it without you. As I said, we can't do it without you. So, let's kind of go through this True Colors assessment. So before we tell you anything about it, we're going to actually ask you first to complete it. And I know that's going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. But think you're going to walk away saying, I think I know the person next to me a little bit better, I think. I'm going to turn it over to Ellen, and she's going to take you through some of that. I'm going to help pass out things.
Okay, so you're getting a form that's being delivered to you right now. When you get your form, just put your name at the top of it. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds before you all have it together. It's not a test. I just heard I need to take a test. It's not a test. I promise. So when you get the form, you will see that there are groups of words in each row. And each little box has a group of 3 words that we'd like you to read. What we want you to do is row by row, read the words from left to right in each group, okay? When you do that, so for example, if I was looking at this particular row, I would read, again, active, opportunistic, spontaneous, parental, traditional, responsible. I would look at those groups of 3 words and I would say, okay, which group of 3 is most like me? The group of 3 that's most like me in that row, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to score it a 4. Then I'm going to say, all right, what's the next group of 3 words that's like me? I'm going to give that group a 3. Then the group that's somewhat like me, I'll give a 2. And then the group that's really the least like me, I'm going to give it a 1. Now remember, you're looking at each row. So you're going to have to do this a few times. You do the first row and you keep going. Second row, third row, etc. Any questions? I see you guys are already working. Pete and I will walk around to help if anybody needs help, okay? Give you a few minutes to do that.
You're going across, not down. You compare the words, the words across. So
It's a row,
yeah.
not a column. So you're going to read these, and then you're going to say, whatever group is the words that are most like me, I'm going to give it one mark. Or reach 1, 1,
That's the hard part. I know you want to. I know.
Right? Exactly.
That's the hard part.
This one's most like me. This one's 4. This one's the next one. So you're going into the row. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go to the next one. 4, 3, 2, 1. The next one. Don't look at all the different rows. Row 1. Keep in mind, you're going to do these rankings for each row. So you'll see it says row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and so on. You have 5 rows you have to actually do. So you're going to rank yourself over and over again. So some of you are looking at us, which I'm thinking means you're done with your rows. And that's okay if you're not. That's okay if you're not. If you are, you can do the next step and just pause for a second. The next step is actually you looking at each column. So now you're going from the top to the bottom, each column, and adding your numbers for each column. And you'll put your total down here at the bottom. Okay, so each column, you'll get a total for each column. So you should, at the end, have 4 totals.
Okay, as you are finishing this up, we're going to tell you a little bit about what these numbers mean. So true colors is, anybody do has anyone taken a Myers-Briggs test? Yes. This is a watered down Myers-Briggs. Okay? And it's broken into 4 major groups. All right? And those groups are identified by color. So each of your columns is going to be a color that tells you a little bit about what centers you as a human being. So the higher the number that you added will be a dominant color, a dominant center to who you are and what you need in order to center yourself each day. So, I believe orange, do we know the? Okay, so, the first column to your left would be considered orange. We'll see if your orange is a dominant color. You can see on the screen, it tells you a little bit about your characteristics. To summarize those, I will say this. If you're a dominant orange, this is generally how you think. You will say, let's just get going. Let's not talk about it. I've talked enough. Let's not analyze it. I've analyzed it enough. It's just time to get going and do it. Okay? You're very action focused. You're very action focused. Denise is passing out the colors so you don't have to look at the screen. The next color
is blue. The blue column, can you come back to me? The blue column, come back to me, is the third column. Okay. See, we tricked you. You guys would just figure it out. It's the third column. So if your highest number is that blue column, characteristics of dominant blue, they're the caretakers. Like I love to see the hearts represented. The orange, it had the little Nike swoosh, just do it. Blue is heart, okay? They're the ones that are very much the optimists, very passionate, very cause-oriented, very family. Family's very important. That's typical blue.
So blue is also, let me put it in perspective. So unlike an orange, where you're saying, I've talked enough, I've analyzed enough, everything's in order, let's do it. Blue, you're going to say, wait a minute, I have to check on how everyone feels. We can't move forward until I see that this person and that person is feeling really good about where they're at. We can't move forward. I'm not interested in a checklist. I can't go forward and I don't want to analyze until I check. And I'm convinced that everyone in the room is feeling good, is feeling comfortable, has what they need. Next. Green, and I believe this is the far right corner, right? Column. So, unlike an orange, who is let's get going, unlike a blue, who says let's talk about how we feel and make sure we can move forward before we move forward. Green is saying, wait a minute, I need to analyze this data. I need to know why. Why in the heck are we doing this? I understand that we need a plan. I understand we need to take action. I know we have to talk about our feelings, but I need to know why. I need to analyze this. I need to see the data. I want to process that with you. And we can talk about the process, and we can talk about the data, but first I have to do it. That's a green. That's if you're a dominant green. And you're really going to hone in on the quote-unquote intellectual component of an issue, a problem, a situation. And last
is gold. So gold is going to be that second column where greens are going to ask the questions and blues are going to make sure everyone's feeling okay and oranges are just going to do it. Golds are going to be the ones who are going to organize it all. Let's make a list. I need a checklist. Let's make your giggles. I need a checklist for what I'm going to do. I need to make sure that we're going to get this done on time. I need to make sure that we're going to be where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. That is a goal, okay? Just making sure we have everything in line so that we can go ahead and do what we have to do. All right? So when you're looking at your colors and what we just described, do you think it kind of describes you in a little bit, in a way? Somewhat?
So this is what you're going to do next, before we talk about the next slide. Everyone has every color. You're a rainbow, no matter what. All right? And if you can see, you have your characteristics, and we also put on the handout how to relate to us. We use this to make sure that we can be effective and efficient and also work as collaboratively as we can to make sure that each person gets what they need. So if you talk to anyone here that has worked with me for probably 15 minutes, they'll know that if you're going to approach me, you have to tell me why you're coming to me. And you've done some work on analyzing what the problem is, and that's going to move me forward to help you better. So that person will always bring that to me in that way. So what I want you all to do now, what we want you to do is just have a conversation with the person next to you or your person that you came with and talk about your colors. What seems to be accurate about this watered-down Myers-Briggs and what doesn't. We'll just take maybe three minutes, and then we're going to ask if there's any volunteers that would like to share kind of what that conversation was like, what you learned or didn't learn. So take about 3 minutes.
Perfect, so I'm leaving. We do it for you. Everybody.
They like brought it. I don't have a visitor sometimes.
We'll have a look and see how many we had first and how many didn't.
No, the ones who don't have visitors.
Okay. Do we have
Oh,
any brave
That's
souls who
what it
would
is.
like to share a little bit about what they learned? Anybody want to kind of share? We typically have a few people that want to, but if not, it's okay. We want you all to go home peacefully, so please be kind. Yeah, definitely.
We're comparing our notes here, and he and I both are strong goals, and blues are next. And so we've been married 50 years, and I'm sure we're pretty compatible. We might flip off on the other two projects. He's meticulous. I'm like, let's just get it done. But anyway, so I think we'll make it in a few more years.
Perfect, we got it.
I'll give you a different wrinkle. We don't match anything. We've been married 52 years. We have a full bouquet.
There you go. We have, we come together either because we're similar or we're different. And when it works, it works. Oh my goodness. We have Kelly.
I'm going to bring a different perspective because my husband probably won't take the test, but I know what he is. But I am very strong blue. I have been since I've taken this test 6 years ago. We're all blue and work together really, really well. Pete was exactly right about the green, and I know when I go to him with anything what I need to have in place. But I think in the workplace, we have to constantly make strides to think about how that's reciprocated. You don't have to tell me like, good job every day. That's not what I need as a blue. But I'm telling you why. I'm getting the list for the gold. I'm doing everything everybody else needs to do. How do we get that back?
Anybody else? And it's okay if you don't. All right. We have extra forms that you can take home. So we'll pass those out. I know Denise, we'll start passing them out now, but there are more because typically there's someone at home that you need to correct.
I will say this too. It actually helped me the first time that Pete introduced this to us was forever ago, 17 years ago. And when we did it, it actually helped me understand my husband better. And now, like when he's like pushing me to do something adventurous, and I'm really not the adventurous type, I go, okay, there's this orange, and I got to pull my orange out. It's very complimentary. And I'm also starting to figure out my older daughter who's an adult. And that's one thing that people talk about in a moment is that this is really intended for adults. This type of survey is intended for adults to use it, not children, and we're going to explain that in a moment why. But my adult daughter, like just really starting to understand her and what makes her furious when I do it, and what makes her not so furious. Based on her colors. So it's really fun. I highly recommend it if you can give it to somebody else, give it to a friend, give it to a family member. It's really neat to see what their colors are as well. So I just said, oh yeah. So did you want to speak to this? Okay. So as I just said, for adults, this really was intended for adults to take, not for children. But when we think about our students, one of the reasons why we say that their colors are still developing, okay? They're still learning all of the different ways to manage their worlds. But when you look at a child, 80% of them, their dominant color is orange. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? You know, I think about my 9-year-old, right? Come on, I just want to go. I just want to do it. Let's just do it. Well, hang on a second. Do you have your backpack to do that? Are you organized? It's all of those other different things in the different color areas that he's really not developed yet, okay? So it does make sense when you think about that with our students. Now, think about teachers, because 80% of teachers are gold dominant. So that organization, they think about that. You know, when teachers walk into the building from 8 o'clock till when they leave at 3:45, their day is a schedule. And they need to keep to that schedule, or your kids don't eat lunch. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, seriously, teachers have to kind of keep that in mind. They have to stay organized. They need to plan their lessons. It makes sense that a lot of teachers would be gold dominant. What do you think the next dominant color for a teacher would be? Absolutely blue, right? I mean, think about that. You don't want a teacher who's not going to be caring in the classroom, right? So we see quite a few blue, gold teachers in our worlds and in our lives. And then finally, just general adults who are blend. All adults, everybody is a blend. And that's the one thing that you have to remember with this. Even though you have a dominant number, you have all of the colors in you. We're not saying that just because you have a really low number in a particular color, well, that doesn't exist and you don't do that. It's just not as important to you. Like my orange, I will totally wrap myself out on orange. I'm not an orange person, but I do have it in me. Every once in a while, I'm a little bit adventurous, or I just do things, I guess. But we have all of the colors in us. Sometimes we want to surround ourselves with others that have the opposite colors of us to kind of pull them out, right?
And just to bring it all the way back to why you're here. You're here because you're supporting a student who learns differently, who has amazing gifts that haven't come out just yet, and we're hoping to bring those out. We, as Eton educators, actually have a slightly different profile than your typical teacher when it comes to true colors. We have a distribution equally of people on our staff that are dominant blue, gold, orange, and green. And I think that's a really important, profile, because what they do is they are what we call educational scientists. We call them ambassadors of hope. We call them masters of instruction and processes. They have to do it all because they're meeting your student where they're at each day. And you have to understand their profile. We have another, a much more in-depth way to really look at each student. It's called the neurodevelopmental placement. We will not get into that. But it's 9 characteristics that really define what makes your special person, student here, tick. And we build everything around that. And we understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their affinities, the things they love. And we build a curriculum around them each day, or we try our very, very best. We connect as adults in this way. We understand where our students are truly, and you probably do too, they're pretty action-oriented when you are caring for them, right? Let's just do it, or let's just not do it. I want to sit here and just, work on the computer. It's one way or the other. So that's who we are. That's why you're making this investment of your time, your energy, and many of you your money, supporting your families. And we're committed 100% to moving your student forward as quickly as we can. I was just talking to a family this morning, and I had to tell them, as much as they're comfortable, their students here the true badge of our success, well, how we measure, is when they come to us and say, hey, I'm really ready to go to another school. I know it's bittersweet for us, but we know we've done our job. They're competent, they have the skills, the strategies, and they're ready to move on. They're welcome to stay, but we know that we've done our job. So I wanted to just circle it all back. This was fun to do, but it really represents how we approach our work every single day. It's research-based, hopefully it's fun, it's accurate, and I think it's effective, and I think we've shown that over the years. I'm going to turn it back to Ellen.
So, before we let you carry on with your day, we wanted to extend this invitation not just for today's event, but throughout the year. We are so incredibly grateful and pleased with the turnout that we had today, as I said in the beginning. You are always welcome at Eton. You are our friends, you are our family, and we would love for you to become involved here. I will say this, I know that when my parents actually sat where you were, because my son was here for a while, my mom said, why would I get involved here? And she still is. My son is no longer here, and she's still involved with volunteering. So if you are thinking, hey, you know what, maybe I do want to go to Eton and just kind of help out with either the gala or the auction, or just things, the events that they're having, come on. We could always use extra sets of hands. We have our book fairs, as you know, throughout the year, so anytime you're willing to help, we will gladly take that help. And I will tell you who to contact in 1 minute. The other way to get involved is giving. I know that Nina, where are you? There you are. Nina was at the Welcome Center with her annual giving table. Nina is our parent PSO president, and she is our annual fund representative for parents this year. But our annual fund is another way to get involved here. It's giving back to Eton Academy to help raise funds for the school. So it's a really important piece for us. Obviously, we want to be here for a very, very long time, supporting students who learn differently for, I don't know, as long as we can. And then finally, our gala and auction I just mentioned. Our gala and auction is our largest fundraising event that we have all year. It is on March 4th of 2023. Mark your calendars. We would love to see you there if you would like to attend. If you would like to help out with the gala and auction, we have a gala and auction committee that is completely families that are helping us out to try to put together this event. For those of you that have never been to one of our galas, it truly is. I've been here for a long time. It's my favorite event at graduation. But it's my favorite event of the year. It's a beautiful event, and it's a true celebration of our students. So if you're thinking that maybe you would like to attend, again, mark your calendar. We'd love to see you or help out. If you would like to become involved in any way at Eton, I put my name, my email, and my extension up there for you to get in contact with me. And then also Kelly is our data manager. Her information is up there as well. One of us can definitely direct you in the right direction if you're thinking that you'd like to join in. Okay? On that note, and with 2 minutes to spare, thank you so, so much for joining us today. This was incredible. The students' smiling faces in here today were so excited that you all were here. So I think you just made their weeks. You made ours. So thank you so much for coming again. We hope you have a lovely day.